Hey, sorry about that. Not exactly sure why it dropped out. Um, it's always puzzling when you're talking, and mostly talking to myself anyway. When I'm, or at least I feel like I am when I'm driving. But then suddenly you look up at the camera and you are talking to yourself and not even recording it. So apologize for that. Don't know what happened, but maybe I'll try to pick up where I left off. I was trying to work security, staying up late, trying to keep the group as safe as I could manage. Like I said, we could protect against violence, I guess, if that were to happen. But I think they're not, those crazy people don't do that stuff when people are out there. So we were mostly just acting as a deterrent. But um, but I can't prevent them from being loud and shining lights all in the vehicles where people were trying to sleep, and just you know causing uh, a ruckus, for no good reason. It's it's uh, it's silly. It's Again, that has to be an extremely miserable life to me. So anyway, last night, we were they were shining bright flashing lights in Ma and Pa's RV, making a bunch of racket right outside of them. And everyone out there will protect them. So, kind of got into a little bit of a heated discussion between a lot of members of our group and those uh, jackasses. And unfortunately, would just stood there and watched. Spoke to him. I'm like, don't you see any merit in de-escalating this? I mean, don't you have any kind of freedom whatsoever to ask them to go away? It's 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning, and they're expressing their freedom of speech, which I'm not so sure that's not exactly a uh, traditional expression of freedom of speech. Harass causing people pain is not what I call freedom of speech. So anyway, and there, it got heated, and uh, there was not a physical altercation, but there was very nearly one. And 10 or 12 police cars showed up. They all came roaring with lights blazing, and uh, basically chewed us out again. So I was really disappointed in how bad the police enforcement is there in DC. I mean, it's almost gross. All over. 4 o'clock in the morning, all of us sleep deprived. Um, I went and spoke. After everybody calmed down, I went and spoke to one of the officers that was out there initially, and tried to just have a civil conversation with him. I didn't try to record him or yell at him or anything like that. And uh, he obviously couldn't say anything, so this is simply my interpretation. But I, the look on his face and his language and reactions to the things I was saying, I was trying to invoke some empathy for our group. But the impression I got is that he wanted to help us, but uh, instructions came from above not to. He kind of implied that anytime someone's screaming their freedom of speech, they're told to stand down because they don't want to get sued. Um, well, that's all well and good for the budget of the city of Washington, D.C. Or, well, I guess it's not even that budget, it's the National Park Service budget. That's all well and good for their legal department. But why do you have to wait for someone to get hurt, uh, burned with chemicals? Uh, why do you have to wait for it to become a physical altercation to just send them home? I told him I understand if they're uh, that you can't necessarily arrest them for being jackasses, but uh, can't you just tell them to go home? I mean, do you have no leeway to say, look, you're on the border of disturbing the peace, um, and if you don't want to spend the night in jail, perhaps you should spend the night somewhere else. Come back at 6 in the morning, fine. But 1:30 in the morning, harassment at 1:30 in the morning is unreasonable, and I I find it hard to believe that that's what the founders were thinking when they talked about freedom of speech. Let's see. Uh, that was planned out harassment. They're bad people. Very proud of you. Thank you for supporting us. Oh yeah. I mean, it's quite obvious that they're planned. I mean, and that's one of the things I was telling the officer. They do drugs and sleep all day long, and they get plenty of rest when they want it, and save up all their energy and their drug highs to come out and keep us awake, because they know that we're up during the day. Our goal is to be engaged with the people during the day, um, and to be quite honest, the daytime park officers uh, do a much better job at keeping them uh, in more of an appropriate distance. If they want to yell loud, again, I don't understand putting that much energy into it. But if they want to do that, so be it. But the park police during the daytime usually, sometimes, well, I can't even say that, but at times do a better job keeping them separated from us, keep it from being an altercation, than they do at 2 o'clock in the morning. You would think that an officer's first duty would be to protect the safety, not the the right to harass, the right to incite a riot. Joe kept saying they're inciting a riot, and he's absolutely right. They're purposefully trying to uh, create a physical altercation. Uh, so, like I said, it's just frustrating, and I don't get it. So, all that is to say, I didn't go to bed until after 4 a.m. and I was awake at 6:30, or I think I woke up at 6 and then fell back to sleep till about 7 or something like that. But all the while I was out there, I think the most I got in one night was 4 hours. So my trip home, I'm going to be safe. I'm not going to drive when I get sleepy. My hope is, uh, if I start to get a little tired, maybe I can find that shower I've been looking for. See if that refreshes me. If it doesn't, uh, make a decision there. But I'm not gonna push myself to try to make it home early. I'll stop and rest, and probably sleep a lot better at a rest area than anyone can out there. So all that is to say, you know, pray for the people that are out there. They're all exhausted. When you look at it, it gives a complete different perspective. Uh, everybody watching from home sees people sitting in the chairs, and you're asking yourself, why aren't you handing out pamphlets? Why aren't you, going down to this place? Why aren't you going to that place? You could be getting the message out better. And that on some levels that may be fair, and I did everything I could to try to hand out the pamphlets and whatnot. But gosh, when you don't get to sleep at all, and then it's 90 degrees during the day and not a lot of shade, and um, it's it's physically draining. And so it doesn't take very long to understand why you don't see as much activity on the live streams as you would hope. Um, Now, I feel like, was the morning meeting streamed? I think it was. I don't want to, you know, go into. I don't know how much has been put out there to you guys about the plans going forward, but I feel like they've got a good plan. I feel like they're going to go work on some messaging, and maybe polish up the delivery of the message, and uh, continue with the constitutional education. That's really important, being out there. If you're going to engage with people, if it's easy to say, most people, you say, hey, would you like a brochure to learn what we're about? And a lot of them either say yes or no. If they say no, have a nice day. If they say yes, they'll take the brochure and just keep running walking. But occasionally, someone will stop and ask questions, and some of them are genuinely interested, and some of them uh, want to feel like they're smarter than you. I had someone today, or a couple of guys, um, fresh out of college and from Great Britain, or England, or there's my ignorance about their country, but they were British, and young guys, and asked a lot of questions. The uh, what if the when we're talking about pushing things back down to the states, what if the 55% votes they don't want clean water? Come on, really, that's an insulting question. There's no one in the United States that doesn't want clean water. That doesn't want schools for their children. Uh, they're just trying to punch holes in the logic. No, it was a very civil conversation, so don't misunderstand. These guys were nice enough, and they weren't directly insulting. I think they were condescending a little bit, uh, I feel like, and one of them said he was a history major, so when he started talking about the years of slavery ended in other countries and whatnot, I don't know, I don't know. I wasn't born then, right? So, but I felt like I held my own. I felt like I did well. I'm proud of what I said. There's always the jerk store thing that I don't know if y'all are Seinfeld fans, but yeah, I could have said this, I could have said that, but I did okay. I'm proud of my responses. I felt like we had an intelligent conversation. But all that is to say, it's great to me if the group can study, and I hope they do some role playing and practice conversations with each other, to be ready for those kinds of engagements. I think some of those people are kind of surprised when you give them a uh, semi-educated answer. I think most of them expect you to go, I don't know, and that I think some of them want you to stumble, but are surprised when you don't, and it can quickly turn into a fun conversation. So, like I said, I'm excited about them doing that, doing that, practicing and messaging and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be positive going forward. Um, I apologize that It's very difficult to read comments when I'm driving, even though they're not that many. Are you heading home or to uh, Bunker Hill? Sorry, trying to catch it. I'm heading back home. That was my plan all along. Uh, was to leave today. And when they kind of Santa read his statement, and they made their announcement. There was some discussions prior to that about who wants to do the civil disobedience, because they differentiate themselves so much it's silly. But there's the permit group and the parks police and all that, and uh, they were they came out and said, um, y'all can stay. This is yesterday. Y'all can stay tonight, but starting Wednesday, today, they're going to start enforcing the no sleeping in vehicles rules, which they have been lenient on us with that. But at the same time, we've been so peaceful and positive and uh, good, for lack of a better word. And so last night was particularly frustrating that we had such. I'm, you know what? Call me a jackass, but I'm just going to call it terroristic threats going on last night. I mean, it was horrible, the way elderly people were being treated last night, uh, and the park police just stood there and watched. You want to arrest? They threatened arrest for the administrative guilt of sleeping in your car, yet have no even threats, much less action against someone that or a group of people that are uh, just trying to incite violence. So it's completely disgusting there. But anyway, so there were some conversations about who wants to endure this civil disobedience, and there was some very rational and reasoned discussions, and um, I think a lot of people were ready. And not to get too deep into the deliberations, but those are some very brave people out there. Um, don't think they're running away, because it, you know, it's it's hurting them emotionally to have to pull back. But they all are smart people, and they realize that um, it's the right move to regroup. The politicians are out of town anyway, and so if you get your vehicle impounded and get arrested and nobody's there to see it, did the tree really make a noise, or the whole thing. So so yeah, they're I think they're doing the right thing. I support what they're doing. Um, and I wish them luck. Where's home? I live in Texas. Like I said, I I am certainly not a professional live streamer. If you're new here, my phone's not really. I just kind of threw this together so I can give some updates, mostly for myself and a handful of you guys that want to know my silly thoughts. I'm, you know, I have no more information on what's going on down there, because I'm headed home. Uh, but what I was saying is I didn't set my phone up so the text is white on light colored cloud backgrounds, and I'm trying to drive and not read this stuff, so I apologize if I'm not reading all the messages and answering your questions. Um, but you know, this is not not a professional here. So yeah, yeah. For the short period of time I was there, so uh, it seems like maybe in September there may be some more action. So I'm going to look at my uh, life and what's happening at that point in time, and see if there's any possible way I can make another trip. Um, I would encourage anybody that sees this video, get out your calendar, uh, go back and rewatch the meeting from this morning. And I, sleep deprived, I don't remember dates. Sometime 1st of September, uh, maybe 3 weeks or so, or something like that. There's going to be a return. Not 100% sure what that's going to look like, but look at your calendar. Um, try to try to get things in place so that you can make that trip. I said in one of my earlier videos, you don't have to explain to me if you can't make the trip. Uh, they didn't. They didn't. They all gave me hugs when I was leaving. They didn't hold it against me that I was leaving. Um, the only person you have to justify why you can't go is that person in the mirror. And if uh, you two understand what's going on in your life, uh, everybody has their life, and it's extremely difficult to get all the way to DC. Everybody understands that. Um, I would, like you said, I would just encourage everybody to look at your calendar, look in the mirror, and just do whatever you can do. You know, uh, they could use the support. So, okay, I'm gonna put down a couple hundred more miles. Maybe a shower's in my future. Maybe at a truck stop. Maybe at a hotel room. I don't know. We'll see how long my caffeine infusion that I got going on lasts. I'm doing really well right now as far as being awake and alert. Um, if I start getting tired, I'm gonna find a place to stop. May talk to you guys if anybody's willing to listen. Uh, if I get too tired or on my way to stop, but I'm doing well now. Uh, I'll I'll give you guys an update next time I stop. Let you know what's going on. Uh, like I said, I'm kind of uh, done with information about the movement. So I know a lot of people joined and started watching this because they're interested in the movement, and they want to see updates on that. And I totally appreciate and understand that. And if this is the last video you watched, thank you for watching the ones you did, and I totally get it. The rest of this will mostly be about me. I may talk a little bit about my thoughts and opinions, uh, but like I said, I'm headed home, and glad you guys went on the ride this far. Um, and I'll post updates even if they're just for me. So, um, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll see you guys later.